Habeas Corpus is brought to you by BearCLAW, the University of Cincinnati College of Law's creative lawyers. Episode 1, written by Norb Wessels.
And so the whole of my inheritance shall be given to Mr. Darren Hill and his wife-to-be, Miss Chelsea Walters, provided that I am included in their wedding.
Right. Now, if we could...
1 second, Mr. Grossman. And for God's sake, Grossman, you better put all of this in the will, word for word, or I'll hire a ghost lawyer and sue you from beyond the grave.
That's Tony, all right.
Okay, that is the most pertinent part of Anthony Jefferson's will, I believe. I'm now ready to hear your statements.
Perfect. Mr. Masters, this situation is quite simple. Anthony Jefferson died of cancer the day before the wedding of Darren and Chelsea Hill. Mr. and Mrs. Hill could not include him in their wedding for that reason. Therefore, the will should be executed as is, without Mr. Jefferson's last-minute addition.
I object. That's what you say, right?
Maybe you should let me handle this, dear. Arnold, that's a laugh. My uncle, Tony, was more involved in that wedding than I was. And I was the bride.
Exactly. That's what I meant to say. Tony was involved in the wedding, and for that reason, the clause in the will was satisfied, and the inheritance should go to us.
Call me Mr. Grossman, please. I thought we agreed that we'd be civil.
Just pull off the gas there, Arnie.
Grossman!
Now, folks, let's just take it easy. Mr. Grossman's correct. Per the arbitration clause within the will, we've all agreed that I will settle this dispute, and my terms involve civility.
Perfect. Now,
that also means that both sides will be given an opportunity to give their sides of the story before I make a final ruling. Understood?
Yes, Mr. Masters. Understood.
Perfect. Now, Mr. Hill.
You can call me Darren.
Darren, do you remember when you first met Mr. Jefferson?
Oh gosh, I'm not allowed to forget.
Uncle Tony introduced us. The day Darren met Tony was the day he met me.
Well, I don't know if you could call it introducing. You see, Tony belonged to this, traveling rodeo. He was a rodeo clown. I was in Edenville with some college buddies, and we went out to the fairgrounds to kill some time. We watched a couple of cowboys get thrown around, and all of a sudden this lunatic comes running in these bright purple pants hollering about the pig chase. "Catch the pig, win the prize," he yelled. Then he goes looking for volunteers. And to be honest, I had a few drinks by then, so I go tramping out, as you do.
You should have seen him. Darren looked like such an idiot. I was in the front row, yelling for my friend Karen. Tony thought I was volunteering, so he comes traipsing over in those ridiculous purple overalls of his, and in one motion, lifts me into the ring. Before I could say anything, they let the pig loose.
I've been to a few rodeos in my day. Did you catch the pig?
Not exactly.
We both started running headlong towards that little greased up thing, and wham! We end up running right into one another. Next thing you know, we're flat on our backs in the mud.
Mostly mud, anyway. Ugh.
Ha ha. This is all very cute, but may we please move along? How you met is not relevant to this matter.
Anyway, no one ended up catching the pig. Tony loved it, though. He couldn't stop laughing at us. He came up and held our hands up in the air like we were both Rocky Balboa. He looked at Chelsea and he said, "Looks like you caught the wrong pig." Then he kind of, slapped my stomach before tossing his head back and laughing.
Man, did the crowd love that. I kinda did too.
I mean, you must have. We started dating that night, after we changed out of our muddy clothes. Tony made sure we both got free clothes from the gift shop. That was about 7 years ago. And every year since, whenever the rodeo came back to town, we take our uncle, Tony, out to dinner.
We kept in touch by phone when he was out of town. Tony got us through a lot of tough spots. He'd always tell Darren, "Darren, I knew on day one that you were bad at catching things, but that little piggy's gonna get away from you if you don't hold on to her. And I'm not always gonna be there to help you out."
And when did you learn about Mr. Jefferson's fortune?
Not until we learned he was dying. So, sometime last year, I guess. And things happened really fast after that.
You see, we always thought Tony was just a rodeo clown. Kind of an odd side job for a multimillionaire tech mogul.
Well, Mr. Hill, from what I understand, Mr. Jefferson was a peculiar man.
You're telling me.
Tony told us about his condition during our last anniversary. He told us how sad he was that he'd have to go without seeing us wed. I told him, Tony, it's just not going to work. We have no money. We can't right now. This big, goofy smile grew on his face, and he tells me, well, if money is all you need, then maybe we can make a deal.
I see. So this is where the provision in the will comes in.
Spot on. If we included Tony in the wedding, he'd leave us his fortune.
So that's exactly what we did.
Give me a break. These two desecrated a man's corpse so they could make some easy millions.
You think what we had to go through was easy? Give us a break.
Please, Mr. Grossman, as the executor of the estate, I understand that you have a stake in how all this turns out. But as I said before, I want to hear the Hills' story. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Hill, you said in your email that you had proof of Mr. Jefferson's involvement in your wedding?
We do. That's right.
Let me get this straight. Your wedding was on March 3rd, yes?
That's correct.
The day after March 2nd, the date of Mr. Jefferson's death.
Look,
I'm afraid I don't understand. How could Mr. Jefferson have been in your wedding if he had passed away the previous day?
Well, you see, he wasn't exactly active in the wedding.
Ugh, here we go.
But he was included in the wedding. The will doesn't say anything about him being alive, only that he had to be involved.
So Mr. Jefferson's corpse was...
I know it sounds crazy, but the service was actually, nice for the most part. And if you knew Tony, he would have been just fine with his involvement. You really should just watch the videos.
Let the record reflect that I think this is an enormous waste of time.
Let the record reflect that Arnold's middle name is Leslie.
You strike that from the record. There is nothing wrong with the name Leslie. It's a family name, and a fine one at that.
There is no record. Calm down, you two. Where are these videos?
Chelsea, do you want to...
Sure. Does this laptop have Wi-Fi?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so just open Safari. Yep. Now go to YouTube. Perfect. Now in the search bar, type Stacy Head Wedding Vlog number 1, Best Wedding Ever XD, #viral, #wedding vibes.
Hold on. Slow down. Maybe you better do it.
Right. There.
Okay. Now, what exactly am I looking at here?
Chelsea's niece is what the kids call a content creator.
She's a vlogger. That's video blogger, for the record. And when you have an extremely last-minute wedding, it's difficult to get a videographer. So, Stacy was the best thing that we could find on such short notice.
I really don't think the videos are all that bad, and it was cheaper than a real videographer.
Yeah, well, you wanted to save money by having the wedding at a funeral home, and look how that turned out for us.
That is not my fault, and it was cheaper. Arnold, take my side on this.
Arnold's not taking your side.
I am not taking your side. In fact, I'm not taking either of your sides.
Perhaps it would be most helpful if I could just watch the videos. Is it this playlist here? Death Wedding Extravaganza, Bridezilla of Frankenstein, XD laughing emoji, #best wedding ever?
Yes, I believe that's the one.
Episode 1, The Lovely Couple.
And good morning, Stacy Heads. I know what you're thinking. Stacy, isn't today Juice Review Friday? That doesn't look like your apartment. And where's the juice? Well, Stacy Heads, today I am doing a super fun family vlog. You see, my Aunt Chelsea is getting married. Here's a pic of her fiancé. Ooh la la, what a hunk, huh? They could have gotten a professional photographer, but who could be better than me, Stacy Nix, vlogger to the stars and beyond. Trust me, folks, this will be anything but a normal wedding. Let's kick things off. Okay, Stacy Heads, we are right outside Aunt Chelsea's room, where she is fitting her dress. Now, Chelsea said only to film the ceremony, but where is the fun in that? Let's take a listen with my super high-tech audio equipment.
Ugh, I swear this dang thing fit yesterday.
Just suck it in some more. Have you been stress eating or what?
Not funny, Beth. I wish I had time to stress eat. I'm sure stressed enough. There we go. You're supposed to be my maid of honor. Now, honor me with some compliments. How do I look?
Like $1 million. Which is fitting, seeing as that's what you're coming into when this whole thing is over.
That's only if Darren's right about this wording of the will. I cannot believe I let that goofus talk me into this.
Oh, come on, Chels. You love him.
More than anything. I'll love that man until the day he dies. I just hope he's gotten everything worked out, because if this wedding is a disaster, that day is going to be today.
Well, we are in a funeral home. There could be worse places for it.
Shut up and help me with this iron.
Chels, you look perfect. You know, I bet your family will be so busy staring at you that they won't even notice that stinky old corpse.
Easy, Beth. That's Tony we're talking about. Besides, I bet my mom will be too busy focusing on Chad.
Chad. Now there's someone who really puts the man in best man.
If only he had the brains to match that physique. Personally, he's a bit too much man for my taste.
I'm so proud of you. I know this isn't exactly what you wanted, but I'm sure everything will work out in the end.
Thanks, Beth. I love you. Now go close that door. We've got some serious work to do if we're going to be ready in 2 hours. Oh gosh, trying not to freak out. Come on, Miss Maid of Honor. Let's see what you're made of.
You heard that right, Stacy Heads. This wedding is taking place at a funeral home. Isn't that so random? Now, let's head down to the groom's room to see what he's up to. All we have to do is...
Hey, watch it! What are you doing with that camera?
Stacy Heads, it looks like we've run into the groom's sister, Kara.
Yuck! Are you, doing a vlog? That is so typical American teenager. You know, in Europe, they treat their art with a little more class and respect.
I don't think that...
Not that I'd expect you to know that. Have you ever even been outside of the U.S.?
I went to see Niagara Falls with my dad last summer. Link in the description.
I see. You should go to Tuscany if you ever get the chance. I did a Maymester there last year. Totally life-changing. You know, the drinking age in Italy is 16. Really makes you think.
About what?
Exactly. So you're Chelsea's niece, I take it. It's cute that you're, filming this wedding.
That's one word for it.
Yeah, whatever. I'm kind of like an honorary bridesmaid. Of course, everything about this wedding is all hush-hush, so I wouldn't expect them to have told you that.
Yeah, and I guess it's kind of strange how a dead body is gonna be...
Haven't you heard why they're doing that?
No, but if you could explain directly into the camera, that would be great.
I'd love to. You know, I did some modeling in Italy. Very casually. You know how it is.
I don't, but...
What I am saying is, I'm not camera shy at all. I'm really in my element here. Anyway, I heard this stiff is some mob boss and my brother owes him a lot of money. Something about respect and making sure he pays his dues. If I were you, I'd keep an eye on some of the guests at this party.
What? Are you kidding me?
Why would I lie to you? Sorry, what was your name again?
Stacy. You haven't seen me on YouTube?
No. Anyway, Stacy. Why would I lie to you? We are practically best friends. In fact, if you want to do a little snooping, my brother's room is right down that way.
Don't worry, Kara. I'll check it out.
Sure thing. See you around, Lacey.
Did you hear that, Stacy Heads? We could have just stumbled onto a conspiracy that could blow this whole city apart. Or at least one that can guarantee me a couple thousand more subscribers. I think I see Darren's room. Let's go listen in.
This is disgusting, dude. Why do we have to change in the corpse room?
You think I'm going to let Chelsea change in here, man?
I'm just saying, I feel like they're staring at me. I mean, it's giving me the heebie-jeebies.
They're dead, Chad. They can't stare at you.
So, which one of these is Uncle T? I don't see his name on any of these toe tags.
Chad, you're kidding me. Don't touch those.
Oh, my bad.
He's not in here. He's already dressed and ready for the ceremony. He's out there in the ebony casket.
Uh-huh. You know, I dated a Melanie once. Total babe.
Chad, are you even listening to me? This is very important. Tony's in the ebony casket. It's out there with the other ones. It's your job to bring the casket in during the ceremony. Just follow the steps we practiced.
Can't I just roll it up at the end? I don't see why I have to spend all of the time rolling it back and forth. The best man is in charge of two things, bro. The bachelor party and the rings. Body transportation is not in the job description, dude.
Well, you passed out during the bachelor party.
Not entirely my fault.
You drank a whole handle within the first hour.
Does nothing stay in Vegas, Darren?
We were in Atlantic City. Besides, the corpses aren't going to tell anyone. Now, how do I look?
Not as good as me.
There's a surprise.
You think I got a shot with that one bridesmaid? What's her name? Beth?
Beth's too smart for you.
Par for the course, really.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
Look at you, hotshot. You nervous?
Too worried to be nervous. Well, either too nervous or too focused on Tony. I'm just sad that he didn't get to be alive for this. But I know that this is what he would have wanted.
You think Chelsea's gonna be okay?
Chelsea's the strongest woman I know. I'm just hoping I don't pass out when I see her coming down the aisle.
D, look at me. Everything's gonna be fine. You're getting married, and sure, you had a funeral home, and there's going to be a dead guy in the room. But your man Chad's got you covered. Just focus on your beautiful wife, and I'll focus on the emery casket.
Ebony.
Right, ebony. That's like...
Black.
Oh, like the color. Ebony. Kind of a weird word. You know, that reminds me of this girl Emily I went out with once.
Chad, we don't have time for this. Let's do this. Get your tie on.
There's the spirit. Let's go get you hitched.
Wow, riveting. It looks like things are all set, Stacy Heads. Next episode, the wedding to end all weddings.
Excuse me, young lady. Do you know where I could find the bathroom?
I think it's right down the hallway. Now, as I was saying, Stacy Heads, get ready for a whole lot of love and a little bit of death, because we are...
Pardon me again, miss? Who are you talking to? Are you involved with that wedding party?
Stacy Nix, vlogger extraordinaire and niece to the bride.
Vlogger? What does that mean?
Oh, it's short for video blogger.
I see. And what's a blogger? I presume it has something to do with that camera? You must be filming this circus, then. Good. Ugh. I'm glad to have some proof of the mockery those two are putting poor Anthony through.
Anthony?
The deceased. My brother. Anthony Jefferson? Ugh. It's no matter, dear. Run along and blog or whatever it is you do. Just make sure you have that camera focused on the casket. If anything goes wrong, I'll make those two pay for brainwashing my brother. Can you imagine? Me, unfit to execute his estate? I feel like I could retch at any minute.
Well, like I said, the bathroom is right down that way if you need to do any, retching.
Thank you, dear. You may continue on.
Okay, geez, what a long episode, huh, Stacy Heads? Looks like I have to change this thing's battery. But don't fret, I got your exclusive access to the Darren Hill Chelsea Walters wedding. We're talking high-quality video and audio throughout the entire funeral home chapel. All will be revealed in episode 2. Maestro, play us out.
Okay, so episode 2?
Wait, hold on. Let me get this straight. You held your wedding at the funeral home where Tony, Mr. Jefferson's corpse, was prepared for burial, and the plan was to...
The plan was to roll the casket in during the service, somehow cementing Mr. Jefferson's inclusion in the wedding ceremony, if you can call it that, and you can't. Then the plan was to roll him into the reception for some form of macabre reception/wake. Now that you see how ridiculous this is...
You're cutting out too much of the story. If only you'd listen.
I would have to agree with Mr. Grossman here. Simply displaying a casket during a wedding ceremony would not seem to meet the, degree of involvement Mr. Jefferson had in mind when he wrote his will.
Mr. Masters, please. I'm sure you'll find that Tony was heavily involved. As you'll come to see, Things didn't really go as planned.
You can say that again.
Honey.
Okay, maybe the next vlog could be enlightening. Episode number 2. You'll never believe what happened. Totally scandalous wedding fiasco. #drama.
Like I said, things didn't exactly go as planned.
Is there at least some way that we can skip the intro?
Hey, my niece works really hard on those.
Darren, it's fine. She doesn't really. You can skip it.
Okay, episode 2 it is.